Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to a new series on the channel where I will be discussing 3 random, obscure sci-fi films. It's basically just a mini version of my obscure and underrated series. And number 3 on the list is Arcade Attack from 1982. Directed by Mike Wallington, Arcade Attack is a truly unique short film. Produced in the UK, it begins, after showing footage of a random creepy laughing dummy, as a documentary exploring the early 80s pinball and video game scenes, with a bit of focus on the rivalry between the two.
I don't like pinball machines, they're just, well, they're antiquated.
As each discusses the merits of their chosen style of game, all the while accompanied by a killer synthy soundtrack. But around the 16-minute mark, the aliens from Space Invaders show up and blast the rockabilly pinball player. It's then that the documentary turns into a heavy metal-esque animated sci-fi film, as the heroes from Pinball Machine Art, including the alien from Alien Poker, battle the Space Invaders over a darkened city. And though only about 5 or 6 minutes in length, it is 3 tons of awesome, with even more just killer music. And said animation was by Phil Austin and Derek W. Hayes, both of whom worked on the animated parts of The Great Rock and Roll Swindle from 1980. Hayes also directed the animated Madonna music video, Dear Jessie. I first caught this one on HBO back in the 80s. They would run it in between movies, and it just blew me away. I thought the Anubis-style character was just next level cool. I didn't catch the title though, but it stuck with me for decades. I even remember drawing the characters at school. Luckily that whole internet thing came along and I was finally able to see it in full. Unfortunately I wasn't able to find out too much about this one, but definitely check it out. And next up we have Time of the Apes from 1987. Directed by, well, several people, including Sandy Frank.
Sandy Frank!
Sorta. Time of the Apes is essentially a Japanese take on Planet of the Apes. It tells the story of a scientist and 2 kids who accidentally travel into the distant future, a future where apes now rule and humans are all but extinct. The apes aren't too friendly either, so the 3 struggle to find a way home, meet an ornery cuss named Godo, and run across a flying saucer, all the while trying to survive. And then there's young Johnny, and Johnny doesn't care.
Johnny, don't go, it's too dangerous.
I don't care.
Time of the Apes is an unusual case, for it began as a 26-episode TV series from Japan called Saru no Gundan, or Army of Apes from 1974. TV producer Sandy Frank, probably most famous for bringing Gatchaman over to the West as Battle of the Planets, edited several episodes of Saru no Gundan together to form a single film. Much of the footage came from the first and final episodes. The film stars Reiko Tokunaga, Hiroko Saito, and Masaki Kaji as our time travelers. Tokunaga and Kaji didn't do a whole lot.
I don't care.
That's enough out of you, Johnny. But Saito, who played the young girl, appeared in episodes of several different Kamen Rider series. Then we have Tetsuya Ushio as Ornery Cuss Godo, one of the last remaining humans. Ushio did some cool stuff, including the Return of Godzilla and the Lion Maru series. And I'll admit, as much as I dig this one, the ending makes about as much sense as, well, this channel. But it's just such a groovy movie, and really cool to see all the different ape designs. They really went well beyond just chimps, gorillas, and orangutans. It's actually far closer to the original Planet of the Apes novel, with the apes using technology. And lastly, Time of the Apes has the rare distinction of being featured on Mystery Science Theater 3002 different times. And last up in our triple feature, we have Firepower from 1993. Directed by Richard Pepin, Firepower is a sci-fi action film set in a dystopian future where apparently drinking goldfish water is pretty hip. And it tells the story of a counterfeit AIDS vaccine originating from the lawless side of town. 2 police officers track said drug to a very 90s dance club / underground fighting tournament. The 2 go undercover to get to the bottom of things, only to find that the tournament is far more deadly than they thought. Firepower was produced and released by the prolific production company PM Entertainment, who was responsible for numerous awesome straight-to-video action movies like Steel Frontier and CIA Codename Alexa with the great Lorenzo Lamas. They also released the Bikini Summer trilogy, with part 1 being one of my favorite bikini movies, because you know, only the finer things at the snack bar. The film stars Chad McQueen as one of our police officers. McQueen was an actor, race car driver, and the son of legendary actor Steve McQueen. Then as our lead's kinda sleazy partner, we have one of the most underrated martial arts action stars of all time, Gary Daniels. And this is long-haired Gary Daniels too. How this gentleman wasn't a huge star is beyond me. He had the look, the skill, and could outsplit Van Damme. He really should have played Ken in the Street Fighter movie, but Daniels also appeared in Fist of the North Star, The Expendables, and probably his most famous role, City Hunter, where he did actually play Ken first scene. Not to mention some really strong Speedo acting. And finally, as the villain of the piece, we have Jim Hellwig, probably better known to most as the Ultimate Warrior in his only acting role. He doesn't say much, but as expected, he has a great presence in the film. Gary Daniels said that he quite enjoyed working with the Warrior, even if the wrestler was a bit slower in movement than he was used to. And speaking of, the Death Ring battles were all squeezed into the last 2 days of filming. The martial artists had to perform their entire fights in one continuous take, a very different approach than what Daniels was used to. Perhaps because of the computer graphics, this one really reminded me of watching someone play Mortal Kombat. And man, right after I wrote that down, Kano showed up. But this is a fun and cool looking movie. I mean, just look at this shot. And though this is the future, they're still rocking some Super Nintendo action. And that's all the time we have for this weekend. So, what did everyone think of the episode? It's because I went on about Gary Daniels a bit too much, isn't it? Yeah, I even made myself a little uncomfortable with that one. But in my defense...
I don't care.
Oh, don't you start again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, and watch Skies and keep it wacky. And hype if you would.
It's the most lethal G.I. Joe team yet. Capcom Street Fighter 2. No way! Wait. There's Guile, Ryu, Zangief, Blanca, and Dalsin. What's a Dawson? Oh, some with real ninja moves. Hey!
My Cobra's got Street Fighters too!
Vega, Sagat, Balrog.
And me, El Bison!
They look unbeatable. Ah! You know them, you love them. So correcto. Capcom Street Fighter 2 figures each sold separately. Oh, I like them.
What makes people all over America break down and cry like this? Call 1-900-9099-CRY and hear it for yourself. $2 for the first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. If you're under 18, ask your parents before you call. 1-900-9099-CRY.